And breaking into our live desk this morning, hundreds are paying their respects to former President George H.W. Bush as he lies in state. In fact, we have a live look right now. This is looking down from the rotunda. You can see the military members surrounding his casket there. So many people, hundreds in line, waiting for the opportunity to pay their respects to the president, and they have until Wednesday at 7 a.m. to do so.
We've already seen people filing in there this morning, and of course happening today. This public viewing in the Capitol Rotunda kicks off a week of mourning here in the country. CBS 2's Sophia Dumani is live here in the studio for us with a breakdown of some other notable events and services happening this week leading up to the former president's final burial.
The Capitol Rotunda will be open to the public again today, and thousands are expected to pour in to pay respect to the late President George H.W. Bush. He'll lie in state in the Capitol until his funeral at the National Cathedral tomorrow morning. His body will then be flown back to Texas, where he'll be buried next to his wife, Barbara, and his daughter, Robin. Now, his journey to his final resting place began yesterday in Texas as the extended Bush family and his service dog, Sully, accompanied his casket aboard Air Force One, which was renamed Special Air Mission 41 for the trip to Washington. His casket was carried up the Capitol steps as an emotional President George W. Bush looked on. Inside, Washington's current political leaders highlighted the dedication the late president had to his country.
His example will always inspire, and his lifetime of service will be enshrined in the hearts of the American people forever.
Tributes also took place in Houston, honoring the former president and his wife Barbara, who passed away in April. People there were encouraged to sport colorful socks like George H.W. Bush famously used to do. Now, after he's flown back to Houston, the former president will lie in church there until Thursday morning, when a second memorial service will be held. He'll then be taken by a motorcade procession to the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library in College Station, Texas, where he'll be laid to rest. You can find coverage of all these upcoming events on our website, idahonews.com. Reporting live in the studio, Sophia Dumani, CBS 2 News.
Close friends of President Bush were in town last night. The Oak Ridge Boys were performing. They are currently on their Christmas tour, but with the former president's funeral in Houston, they will be taking a break from the tour so they can perform for the man who they knew not only as president, but as a friend. This band was with the late president through his time in office to when he was in the hospital and up until the final days of his life.
Every single time that we have ever performed for George and Barbara was a special time. I mean, we were at several of his big birthday celebrations. We sang. We sang in the White House. We spent the night in the White House. We sang on Air Force One. We performed every time he ever asked us to, including when he was sick several times, where we would gather around an iPhone and sing to the president in the hospital.
They started singing for President Bush in 1982 and continued through the decades, and now they'll sing for him one last time. After the funeral, their Christmas tour will continue through the 23rd with a couple more stops out west. That includes in Pocatello.